You often hear me talk about entry-level positions, and my go-to is SOC analyst, Security Operations Center analyst, and that's because I feel like it gives you the best broad foundational experience that really leads you into different roles and different categories to expand your cybersecurity career. But let's take a page away from that today. Let's talk about 10 career fields that you could go into that aren't that SOC analyst, that are kind of out of the ordinary, out of the box thinking, that still could provide you a leadway into cybersecurity where SOC analyst is, well, and quite frankly, it's a lot of times it's over induced because people like myself and other cybersecurity specialists say, go SOC analyst. Let's start off the bat with number 10, healthcare security specialist. Right? These are the guys that go in, they look at your PHI, they understand HIPAA, they understand healthcare, and they're really responsible for protecting that electronic health record and securing medical devices, securing that medical infrastructure as they go through it. Now, this entry-level salary position starts right around $75,000 a year. I say it's entry-level, but a lot of times you're looking to have at least a year of experience. Can you get in there with less? Yes, you can, but it's definitely something that you're going to have to fight for. Having a background in medical or in healthcare is definitely going to help you out in your quest to get into this healthcare security specialist. And I feel like this one is very closely tied to that SOC analyst, right? So much so that that's why it's number 10. Let's move down to number 9, security awareness and training specialist. If you like doing what I do, but you want to get paid for it a little bit better, this is the job for you. Minimum experience, zero. Required 0 years of experience. But you have to understand training communication, a little bit of instructional design, instructional experience in the background. Maybe you're a transversal student, really going to help you out in going into cybersecurity. Entry-level salary, right around $60,000 a year. It's definitely not one of the heavy hitters. Maxes out at about $100,000 a year, but you design and deliver employee training. Now, this is not to be replaced by something like an educator, right? This isn't a teacher. This is a security awareness and training specialist, which is more on the private side, less on the public side. That leads us right into number 8, educator, trainer. This is more of that university side of the house, the more on the public sector side. Average starting salary, quite a bit less, believe it or not, $55,000 a year. Good news, only 0 to 1 year of experience required. Although I will point out that the good ones, the ones that are really going to do well in getting this position, have already worked and already have a background and experience. Very rarely do companies hire somebody that have 0 years of experience. Now, that doesn't mean it can't happen. We see it all the time. But you're really going to start at that minimum level if you do start at this rate. Some people just love teaching, and that's fine. These people teach security concepts, right? Whether it's certification or college courses or even at the high school level. This is really, really coming in. You really have to have a passion for teaching. I will tell you that the benefits and the retirement is a little bit up there compared to some of the private industry jobs, but you're really not going to make a lot of money doing it. Yep, that's why I do YouTube. All right, let's move on. Compliance and audit specialist, number 7. I feel like this is a dire needed job. I get recruiters hitting me up all the time asking me if I've got people that are interested in auditing. It's very much a menial position, and by menial I mean you're hitting the keyboard and you're doing paperwork, not so much the security side of the house, but more on the auditing side of the house. Entry-level salary starts right around $65,000 a year with a annual cap averaging about $120,000. Requires 0 to 1 years of experience. It really makes sure that companies are following those regulations, whether it's PCI DSS or HIPAA. Maybe you're looking at SOC 2 analyst, or excuse me, SOC 2 report. Cannot talk today. And it really focuses on documentation. Really focuses on that documentation side of the house. So if you're somebody that's like, I got this cybersecurity degree or I got this education, but I hate computers, but I love paperwork, this is probably the job for you. This is really more geared towards those business-minded people that are in cybersecurity. I do see a lot of people that have MBAs with an emphasis in cybersecurity kind of go down this route. Somebody that really wants to do documentation, right? Great news about this job. It's usually an 8 to 5. There are some off nights for this one, but it's not a bad living. It really isn't. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, you know what I really want to do? I love interacting with people. Yes, even cybersecurity has people that love talking to people, but they want more money than what a teacher provides. I give you the cybersecurity sales engineer. 0 to 2 years of experience, though a sales background usually helps. I find that a lot of college grads or people that are brand new to the industry that worked in retail or worked in commission sales do really good at this job. You have to understand cybersecurity. You have to understand the concepts of the technology, but you have to have a sales background as well. Average annual salary cap right around 120 to 150 with commissions. These guys act as technical experts during sales calls. They show up networks. They provide that how-to, and then they really kind of concrete those sales. Don't get me wrong, it is a sales position, but you have to understand cybersecurity to do well at it. And it's not a bad salary cap, to be honest, especially once you get involved. All right, next one, number 5, industrial control system security analyst. Yes, it's a little bit different. Now, I got to be honest with you. I really wanted to be an ICS security analyst when I got into it, because who do you think manages Disney World's systems, or Universal Studios, or water companies, or, well, the list goes on and on, right? Average starting salary, $80,000 a year, although it's not a 0-year position, right? Usually requires 1 to 3 years of cybersecurity experience. And yeah, annual salary cap right around 140. I have seen it higher. I've seen it 160 depending on where you're living. These people really protect the infrastructure like power grids, manufacturing plants, the list goes on. But if your dream job is working on amusement parks and making sure they're secure, this is probably the job for you. Moving on to number 4, cloud security engineer. Entry level, starting about $85,000 a year. Not a true entry-level position. It requires 2 to 3 years of experience normally. Can you get in with less? Yes, with the right certifications, with the right knowledge. You probably can. Average annual salary cap right around 150 to 160. These people really secure those cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, GCP. You've got the point, right? They really kind of go through that process and understand not only the cloud aspect of it, but how to secure that cloud. And I got to tell you, the cloud is just growing and growing and growing. It's really it's a move I would make if I was 20 years old. It definitely is. Now that I've lost all my hair and a little bit older, I don't know if I would make the transition. I love my 8 to 5s. But yeah, cloud security engineer, not a bad position. Next, number 3, privacy engineer. Again, not a true entry-level position. We're looking at 1 to 3 years of experience. They protect cybersecurity, data protections, privacy compliance. You know the list goes on. Entry-level salary right around $85,000 with an annual salary cap right around 140 to 150. They ensure that most systems meet those privacy laws, right? So it's auditing, but not so much the paperwork. It's more on the technical side of the house. They ensure GDPR, CCPA, all those great rules and regulations are being followed for the technical side of the house. And so it really blends that legal compliance with that hands-on technical work. Definitely a job that I think that I would do well at. It's very much attention to detail and understand the paperwork side of the house, but also understanding the technical side of the house. I feel like if you're somebody that really likes to dive into the nuances of cybersecurity and privacy and law, this is probably a really great position for you, and definitely one worth considering. That brings us to number 2, entry-level position, 0 to 1 years of experience. Those strong writing skills and basic security knowledge and certifications required. Cybersecurity technical writer, entry-level position starting at $65,000. Annual salary cap right around 100 to 110. I have seen them go higher at about 130 depending on where you live. But they write documentation, policies, guides for cybersecurity teams and tools. That is the technical writer. It's somebody that really wants, I feel like this would be a great remote position if you can get into that remote kind of work for it. But you pay for that remote by being only, it caps out at like 100, 110, right? So really not a high paying job. A lot of attention to detail comes into it. If you're somebody that loves writing, again, but doesn't so much want to do the auditing aspect of it, probably a great position to start off with. I knew a technical writer once. He loved his job. He was very much a nerd like me. But he sat in front of the computer all day. He got graphs, he got charts, he got all this other great stuff. Did a fantastic job. And there is money to be made in there. I feel like the real money for technical writing is having side jobs off to the side. So you have your real job on the front end, and then you have side jobs off to the side that you do other work on. And I feel like that's really where the salary comes into play. But it's not a bad position, especially if you're looking for remote work, and you kind of want to be left alone. All right, that leaves us to number 1, coming in at an annual salary cap of $160,000 a year, and not a true entry-level position, I'm afraid. I know I was hard-pressed to find 10 of them, right? Annual starting salary right around $90,000 a year. Could probably start this position with as little as 2 years of experience. If you've got a background in product management, maybe some software development, you could probably lower that down to 0. But typically you have to have a background in technology. So it's not a true, I have no related experience, no college education towards it position. But if you do have a background in a sister technology like IT or software development, cybersecurity product manager, right? 160 is the annual salary cap. They really design and improve security products by working with the engineers, the customers, and the sales team to create a project or a product that really shines and moves through, right? They blend that technical knowledge with the product strategy. I feel like this would be a really good position for somebody that maybe started off with software development, maybe said, I want to be a manager and went into business, and then was like, well, I really don't want to be a manager for software development. I want to move on to cybersecurity. This is probably that type of role, this type of position. So not a true lead level position, but somebody that maybe is transferring over to cybersecurity from a different field would do really well at this. But cybersecurity project manager, really number one. I think this is going to be highly technical, but highly strategic as well, blending business and technical knowledge together. All right, that's it for me today. We'll see you next time. I'm Dr. K.